We two third grade class.
No, this was
the first day there. It was one of those moments that like really reminds you like it is, but like we had our educators who like talked to them about the fish and what they're sturgeon on, this short note Atlantic sturgeon, and then they like open these gates and these like 40
water
screaming at the top of their lungs.
The Avenger.
Yeah.
Adults are a little nervous, but
Yeah, that's
they climbed right up on top of the fish.
Excuse me, Robert.
Yep.
So I've got these folks and attendees. Are any of them your?
New York Water Tours.
Yeah.
On 10th Street, you know.
And I think Jose Montefort, but they will.
Or you'll ask them to identify themselves at the time. Okay.
all right. Welcome everyone to the February 2023 Parks and Waterfront Committee meeting. My name is Rich Cacapola. I'm the chair of the committee. And let me see how many people are on. Can you see the number up there?
2.
No, the
Yes.
no, all right. We have more coming in. Some people are going to be remote. I think that's going to join. Let's start by those in the room introduce themselves. Here. We can start with my right.
Hi, I'm Dan Miller, and I'm a member of the Parks Waterfront Committee and full board member. Thanks.
I'm Susanna Aaron. I'm vice chair of the Parks Committee, and I also chair the Human Service.
Shirley Secunda, member of the Parks Committee, full board member, and also chair of the Traffic and Transportation Committee.
Hey, I'm Therese Flores. I'm regional manager for the Parks Department.
And a presenter today, and injured and still made it. Yes. Yeah, that's okay. She's got to put her foot in. Yes. Robert.
Robert Atterbury. I'm one of the executive vice presidents of Hudson River Park Trust.
Hi, Ann Hager, member of Parks and Waterfront and vice chair of schools and education.
And yeah, anybody online that I'm sorry.
And 2 more people.
Oh, you've got 2 more coming in right now. Please introduce yourselves. Frederica. We're in the introduction stage. She's a board member. Yes, please. Yeah, right. All right. And anybody is, we've got a couple people on. I see Carter's on. Valerie, thank you for joining. Valerie, always Darlene's on that. We'll have some questions. Jeffrey, I see. Okay, great. We have two topics today. We'll get right into it. The first one is we have updates. This happens periodically. We have updates from the Parks and Recreation Department where they just give us an update on status of projects in the district. Today, we know of a few. There's Grand Canal, there's Duarte, there's Hudson-Houston Plaza and Dapolito. So that there'll be some questions, and we'll open it up after Teresa speaks. And then we have an update from Robert's coming back. This is 2 months in a row. He's going to talk to us about the Pier 40 marine operator. He has an update, and there may be a presentation if everyone behaves. So the first one up is let's hear from Parks, the Department of Parks and Recreation. If you want to.
That's right. Can
you see me when I speak? It's supposed to catch me, right?
Oh, here's Steve One there.
Yeah, but
Oh, there it is.
twice.
Hi.
There she is.
Yeah. I think
Okay,
they
so
have
we
to
can
just make
see
a lot
you?
of
Okay.
noise and
I see your
they
hand.
hide the machine, so they hide
Who
me.
are you?
So I'm just bringing you updates on the projects that are going on that you asked about, which are Grand Canal Courts. The restoration is currently showing as summer/fall 2025. So they're going to be sending us the restoration drawings in late 2024, maybe early 2025, so we can review them, make sure everything.
This is for which project?
And this is for Grand Canal Courts. And so Duarte Square, we have to speak to MNLA and Trinity Partners for an update there. As you know, that site's being used for staging with the DEP project. So that's, also in line with the projects nearby. So it all needs to be coordinated. And so we have to get an update, and I'll come back to you with Duarte Square. Hudson-Houston Plaza, if you weren't able to attend the public scoping meetings, one was virtual, the other was at the Firehouse Museum. We also met with City of School. And so design, scoping and design are underway. And I was there and it was very well attended. It was really great to hear all these awesome ideas. So, and then that leads to Donny Dap Ludo nearby. We currently have no updates because they're still there assessing the site. So I can come back to you the moment I hear something. And so I have no information there yet.
Let me just, did you say, for Grand Canal Courts, it was summer of 20?
Summer/fall 2026.
Oh, 26. It was 25.
Oh, sorry, 25.
That's, I just,
25. The 2026 is the underground completion. So like they're gonna restore the top and they're still gonna be working underground until fall of 2026.
that's right, I remember that, yep. Remember,
The area being addressed. And I was so grateful that we met on site.
I'll walk around. That's what I was gonna ask about. I'll probably ask some questions anyhow.
and then, Duarte Square, we just need still need an updated. Great to hear that Hudson-Houston Plaza, was well attended. I was away, I'm glad to hear it, but any who attended, thank you for doing so.
I think they also had 500 people responding to their surveys, their outreach. That's important.
Valerie was there, I was there,
Can you tell us
and
anything?
Pearl was there. Well, it was what you expect from a charrette. So there were a lot of different tables and we were given a lot of different parts to play with. Sort of like the Ganza board.
The most recent one, or are we talking about one?
So this is the southern parcel, where the northern parcel is 388 Hudson Street. This is the parcel that was one of the water channel track. It's the one that's gonna be a park, but it has all kinds of constraints on it because of deep need to access ground infrastructure. And it's being paid for in part by the Hudson Square bid. So it has a nice robust budget of like $3 million, something very nice. So they wanted to know, what would you like the fence to look like? And what would you like in there? And this is where we can't put, so there's most of the area you really can't, Therese, correct me, okay?
Okay.
But most of the area you can't go down at all. Then there's a certain portion where you could go down like a little, like you could have beds, like, and then there's another portion where there are not constraints. So you could have, you could have something more permanent. But there's also a mural, the mural that's on the back of City of School, and they want to protect that and keep that. So there was a lot of interest at the tables and not interfering with that. The table I was at, we were talking about ping pong and bocce and seating areas, and apparently the site gets a lot of sun in the summer and shade in the winter, so it's too hot and it's too cold, what can you put in there? And they had all these ideas of like a fence, maybe you could have an interactive element where you can go up to the fence and turn blocks around and they change colors and stuff like that. And they're meeting also with City and School, so they want to get a sense of what they would like to see there, and we all sort of agreed that it would be nice to have it tailored to different age groups. Little kids, older kids, adults, and people could use it at different times, and the school kids could use it, but we want them to hang out there, but not just out there. So it was fun. I left before the very end, but I think that they were just taking all of this and.
Do you feel that they came with any preconceptions?
No, actually. And Signe Nielsen was there, and she's wonderful. And yeah, there was just,
Okay,
And
were
my
anything they said that can't happen, space?
yeah, well, the first thing they said was it can't be active recreation. So I said, well, what does that mean? Because obviously you're not gonna have a ball field, I get that, but you're not gonna stop a kid from riding a little bike, right? So what are the parameters? And they said, basically it broke down to where you need to have access. They need to have access onto the field, onto the space all the time. They have a certain number of manhole covers. They have to be able to get into those. And that's where we came into the three sections. The one, the second, and then like A, B, and C. And my plug was I want an educational element so everybody understands how great everything is that's underground in that space, because it's phenomenal that we built. I'm very impressed with the third water channel site. So anyway, yeah, it was fun.
Now, was there any discussion about the building that will apparently be built just north of it in the same block.
It was raised in terms of, can you really design this without knowing it? But it wasn't really, I would say in that room at that time, it was not a stumbling block to the conversation. There was not a lot of pushback on the idea of developing a park.
Would anybody suggest playing handball against the building? Can you use the building in any way?
We didn't discuss the building. There was discussion of the back wall.
Yeah,
But there was concern because of the mural, so.
We don't really know where the back wall is gonna be.
No, she means.
No, the wall that exists
Oh,
right now, which has that mural, called Ellis, I think it says
Yeah.
on it.
Hmm.
And, there was a general sense in the room that that was not to be touched, that we wanted to preserve that. So people at my table didn't mess with it. But we also said like, well, you could play bocce in front of it, you could have, you could play games in front of it, you could have people moving around.
Okay. Any, so we had talked about Grand Canal Summer. I'll open it up to other questions.
Pearl was there too.
Yeah, so I was also at the meeting.
On the committee wants to ask a question.
Pearl's public.
All right, let me tell you.
Yeah, please, go ahead and then I'll, turn it back. Yes, Coral, you want to give, some input into the conversation or the event?
Yeah, so I also asked a similar thing about how active you could be, and in the broader comments, they seemed receptive to having a half court or a half basketball or something like that. But then it turned out by just serendipity that my entire table was planning consultants that had been hired by the bid. And they told me that they're 100% respondents of their survey that they had done, I guess, months ago, because it's all workers in the area, no one that lives in the area, wanted the entire space to be passive lunch space.
Wow.
Nice.
And that they had documented all that, and that there was no need for anything besides passive lunch space because they had all these, and I was like, well, clearly you only surveyed people that work in the area that are only able to go outside during lunch. And so that's why they're asking for that. There were 5 people, sorry, there were 6 at every table. So there were 5 people and me. So I clearly objected to that. Sydney came over and talked to me about, because they were like, there's no way we could have any active use at all of the space.
Sure.
And but they wanted to have zero, absolutely nothing, just like benches and lunch space, nothing else. So I was like, that's not at all what we just discussed in the broader presentation. And it also doesn't meet the needs of like, I don't know if it's still 5,000 units or not that are coming online for the, the housing that was supposed to be built in the area. Whatever it is that it's actually coming, and also the people that live nearby, that's absolutely not the case. So she actually was receptive to listening to uses that could be used. I actually thought that it's possible, especially before a building is built there, pickleball people bring their gear. So if you have enough square footage, they set it up. Like you don't have to do anything. And if you are not bothering anyone because you have, open space, the street, a school building, and Saatchi and Saatchi across the street, it's not a bad site for that because the annoying bing, bing, bing is like not going to annoy people. So, she listened at length about that. And okay, hi, Nicole. But she was like willing to listen to it. But the consultants that all worked for the bid wanted to have it be 100% passive lunch space, and had apparently some very big survey that was done a few years ago to document that that's the community need. So, that's going to be something that we have to address because obviously that's only one sliver that has been specialized in asking what their need is.
Okay. Thank you. Shirley, you had a question.
Oh, just about Grand Canal, of course, I think that Teresa knows what, if you recall, Rich, you
Yes.
came on that walkthrough.
Go ahead and thank you.
And basically there are umpteen projects going on at the same time, or almost the same time. And we were just concerned about the coordination. I realized that the pump station from the DEP isn't even starting until April. So you really haven't had.
Yeah, that
Honestly,
really
yeah.
impacts Duarte, and that's why I need an update, because it has to be
Yeah.
coordinated with.
Yeah, so has nobody gotten together because it involved the Port Authority, because they had certain changes on Canal Street?
So, yeah, I had no update yet from any of them.
Yeah,
And so
we
we're
haven't
gonna
received
seek
anything.
one through interagency and see what we can. So
Yeah, but you do coordinate with NYCT, of course.
Well,
Trans,
I think everybody's just waiting in line for each project and that's what it seemed like was discussed when we met. That
well,
each
that's, some of them would
project
take
affects-
place at the same time, kind of like.
Right, because there's also a footprint, there's like 10 or 15 feet into the park that the DEP pump house site needs
Right.
for.
By Duarte Square.
Yeah, so Duarte is impacted in its construction because of what's going on at the pump house.
So do you think we should have another meeting asking?
I don't
everybody
think
to
I don't
come?
think it would hurt.
Maybe that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, wait until DEP starts their project. Now, the construction project doesn't begin until 25, I think, something.
For the DEP site?
For the site that's further on Canal Street, further west.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I can park. I can ask about that.
Yeah, that was,
Two Barrack? Is that what you're talking about?
what?
Is it number 2 Barrack or something?
No, I don't think it is is it number 2? There, I well, it is 7th Avenue.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, another one.
Oh, it's iconic.
Yeah,
New
maybe
vein.
to have a site meeting.
And
Get all this
Trinity
information.
involved in that one.
It's all,
Yeah, maybe we should just, we of course asked them to come back right away. Nobody did. But you would have your own take on it anyhow, I guess.
right, so we'll get an
Yeah.
update on everyone. I can give you as much information as I.
Okay,
All
great.
right, anybody
No,
else?
it's Mostly to avoid that conflict, you know. all
Any
the
other
stuff.
questions about the, yeah, I can see, oh, she has her hand up, yeah.
She was at the.
All right, can we just, let's go one at a time, we can talk about,
The old, yeah, so,
can we, any other questions about Grand Canal while we have?
I an update about the timeline.
This is Darlene Lutz. I don't have my
Yes,
camera on. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
we can hear you, Darlene.
probably lives right there.
Yeah,
Good evening, everybody. I'm sorry to pop in. I
no,
didn't know,
please do.
I did have my hand raised.
Yeah, please do. I'm sorry, I really struggle to see on this, get my glasses. Watch go, darling.
Good evening, everyone. As you all know, I am your eyes and ears on Duarte, Grand Canal Court, the 76 Varick Street site, Canal Street, what else, the Holland Tunnel, because I live here. I am interested in knowing when the DEP project is going to be starting. I have good eyes and ears on the progress because I do talk to the job site captain for the MTA project about once or twice a week, just scoping out and seeing where they stand, coming along. He thought they would be finished. Last I spoke with him last week, they were shooting more for the end of this year for the project to whether the Grand Canal Court is repaved. And actually, I thought that there was maybe going to be some discussion about whether that was going to remain a basketball court or maybe more, applicable to community use, a greater community use, because the new building is supposed to have a full-size basketball court in it at 76 Varick Street when it goes up. So, I thought that was maybe going to be up for discussion, whether, it could be repurposed in a way by the Parks Department for more access and use. But it's a mess down here. What can I tell you? And it's going to be further. And there are a lot of air quality conditions daily with the work going on that I really don't know how to deal with anymore. No one cares. So that's what I'm seeing and smelling and inhaling and living with, as are the residents around here. Obviously, the hotel's business has been greatly affected. So I hope they're being kept in the loop. I don't know. I have other matters that I've been focusing on, so I haven't contacted them. But it's rough, It's very, very rough. Plus we have the Holland Tunnel, which never
Yeah,
stops.
So Darlene, anyhow, it answers your question about the DEP pump station project. In March, when we had our meeting and walkthrough, they said that they would start active construction from May 2024 to August 2026. So they haven't even begun yet. But supposedly they begin in May, this May.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Shirley. That was from last year's.
That was from March, right? Just
2023.
past March, which is last year.
Yeah, May 2024 until,
August 2026.
okay, all right, so, anything else to add?
So maybe we should do it.
Any- Therese?
Appreciate that. If we could get an update, just see if it's still in that.
Yeah, if I can, I'll reach out to interagency, see if we can get updates on our end. If it's different than what I'm hearing here, I'll let you know right away.
Okay.
Right.
Any other,
So much. Appreciate
any
it.
other questions? And I think Nicole, you might have had your hand up, Nicole. Anybody else? Yeah, can I unmute you?
No, I'm good. Don't worry. It was answered. I was just going to put in my 2 cents about the virtual meeting, but you guys, I think Susanna and everything covered it all. I didn't feel there was like preconceived stuff going in, but I hear what Coral said about everyone's looking for a place to eat lunch. I think, everyone thinks, yes, that would be nice, but there were like a ton of ideas in our breakout room, everything from like acoustic music to like food carts outside to different ways to work the fence and moving around stuff inside and active and inactive. But the one thing they did say is they couldn't have any kind of sports or anything.
Yeah.
That's what I was. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, thanks. We may call on you just a second again. Valerie, did you have your hand up? Are you on?
Huh.
Valerie, I thought I saw it. Yeah, she's there.
It's muted, so-
Have Laura Brown, just
Yeah, let me just see. So we went through, let's just say any more on Grand Canal and Duarte, we seem to have that covered. Hudson-Houston Plaza, we talked about the 2 events. Napolito Center, I know there's several people wrote to me, and Nicole, I know you've been trying to get stuff. You guys have been trying to get stuff done there, but the update in case it didn't come through was it's still.
Yeah, there's not enough information yet.
There's-
Yeah. We're
Okay.
waiting on Parks and hi, Therese.
Hi.
And we're hoping to get a meeting, but I don't think, just like Therese said, she knows better than I do. There's nothing to report yet.
Okay, okay, any other questions or projects that want to question? Frederica, you have a question?
Well, I was just curious, is the work at Napolito on hold for now?
No, it's just still in progress. They're still looking at the building and figuring out what's.
They're still working at that building on the,
I think they've done assessments, and I think they're still doing assessments, and they're still understanding what options there are. And so I don't think they're ready to say anything definitive yet. And
okay.
and we keep pushing them to give us more info. They're still working on it.
Any other, I'm just trying to see any other questions before we go to, any other comments you want to make before we go on the next topic? Okay.
Does
Wow.
everybody know about the other DEP sites that they can go check out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but please, actually, it's worth doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there is down on Grand and Lafayette, there's Rapkin Gale, which has been there a while, and we're working on improving its planted areas. It's kind of become a dog run, and they've destroyed a lot of things. So we're working on getting some fencing, hopefully some irrigation at some point, which is not really irrigation, just something that DEP will allow to put in. And so that was one of my priorities. I mentioned that like we really need watering systems. It's not getting any cooler.
Yeah.
We're not getting enough rain in the
Put a
summer.
long hose down to the tunnel.
Yeah, we have enough connections. So yeah, and there's also Manuel Plaza. So there's
Which is the fourth.
yeah, and I don't think that the type of tiles they use are permeable to allow water to be captured. So I think that might impact the design for active use. So
Okay, thanks. Anybody think of any other topics?
I mean, I guess even though I'm obviously opposed. I guess I should bring up, has there been any progress on the dogs off leashes in Washington Square Park stuff? That's good. That's fine.
Thanks for,
There's a dog run there. That's the best thing.
No, we're on the same page.
yeah.
Some other people in the community are not.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's turn it over again, twice in a row, 2 months.
Oh, yeah.
in a row. Yeah, so Rich. Yeah, you-
I wanted to maybe wait till the end because I have a couple of announcements if it's possible.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she obviously wants to hear.
So I want to tell you what's going on at Chelsea Recreation because that's.
Yeah, go, all right. Yeah, please. Is that all right? Do you mind?
Go
All
for
right,
it.
thanks.
Okay, so She's on Point is happening in March on the 2nd, and I can send you that
She's on point.
listing. It's Women and Girls in Sports Day, so hoping to promote that.
And this is on 24th Street.
Yes, this is on 24th Street. That's your nearest recreation center. Please go there. It's lovely. It also has an indoor pool, and it's quite a nice one. I take my kids there. Other than that, Let's Green NYC is an initiative, and I'd just like to present really quickly that it's something that helps us understand who our volunteers and our dedicated members of the community are, and it gives them a place to reach out to the community and say, we are official volunteers for parks. We would like your help in what we're doing to make the park greener, more beautiful. And it also increases the amount of activity that increases engagement and less loneliness. And it's a part of, it's a way for us to also capture that you've been there. And those who actually participate can enter their hours and what they do and how much they contribute so that we understand that and what they're giving to the park and they can see.
It's a program.
What is it called?
Let's Green NYC. And then send that to the board office so that you guys can actually see it and participate and put your name forward if you're taking care of a park.
Roberts wants to steal that idea.
So we already know in our district, there are a lot of friends groups and some conservancies. Are those, do they count?
Yes, no, that's who we
okay.
capture. That's who we would like to enter their data. That's who wants to be able to make a record and say, no, these people are active. We reach out to them when we need information about our park. I need to know what they care about so I can help to facilitate the beautiful work they're doing.
And does this apply also to gardens? Because there is the Jefferson Market Garden and the Jane Street Garden.
Yes, it's all activities and parks related properties.
Thank you.
We're going to hear from them in coming months. We have one in April.
Really? Jefferson Market's coming in April.
We've confirmed April. Susanna said she saw you at Bleecker Street Playground. Is that project?
Picture in the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I like to, we keep putting plants in, but we never take soil out and it tends to spill out into the pathways. And so I harvest it with volunteers and take it to parks that need it because often we plant bulbs and there's not enough soil to plant in. So it really helps. And we happen to have Finn Square there, which is south of us, but they needed the soil and I needed to get it out of there so it wasn't messing up the park.
I'm gonna share. Picture.
It's exactly those kind of numbers we capture. When I'm directly engaging with them, I put their numbers in.
I do have a question. It's DOT related in a way, but the little medians on 6th Avenue, they have little small planting gardens that volunteers handle. Now that's through DOT. I mean, would you want that in the?
Well, I've been working closely with the Hort Society for those, and those are DOT. And that's mainly why I feel free to help my gardener with more resources and the Howard Society has stepped forward and they're doing a great job at places like Little Red Square. They're watering, they're planting, replacing dead shrubs, helping me add bulbs. It's gorgeous over at Father Fagan with everything they've done there. And so it's.
Yeah, so it's more to do with the Parks Department. This would not have to do with DOT.
Well, their name is on the property. It's the property, it's their property, but yeah, I started, yeah, happy to help.
All over the place, because I also just saw her.
But do you?
I can send you the names.
Interventions on 6th Avenue are working?
So what's that?
The little, like the
median.
The median, they're not really a median, but they're like a protected place for pedestrian. Do you think that they're properly cared for?
If some of them are, just reach out to us, and if they're part of our maintenance, I send.
They were individuals who were just volunteers,
Yeah, and if they're volunteers, send them.
running out of their own pocket.
Yeah, send them to us so we can support them. If there's stuff we can give them, I do. I work
Okay.
very hard to find resources for them.
You know, next time we have a little meeting, maybe. we'll invite you to
That'd be
come.
great.
I found the press release on Let's Green NYC, so I'll put that in the notes. All right, I know I can feel the tension. Everybody, no offense, but everybody wants to hear from.
I'm gonna send you the picture.
Executive Vice President,
I have a
of
little-
Relationships and Programs with the Hudson River Park
That's
Trust. Help us.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, he's here to give us the longest title in the city. Here to give us much long-awaited decision on Pier 40 boat.
The marine operator.
Sorry, yeah.
So I'm gonna start, thank you all. I'm gonna do 2 quick updates, general park updates, and then we'll move into that. So
Extend it further. You're just delaying it further.
I am, I like to keep everyone on their toes. So I don't know if folks haven't seen, last week, the Pier 26 Science Playground opened. These are our 2 semi-atomically correct 40-foot high sturgeon down on Pier 26, a challenging playscape for kids between 3 and 12. We had some 2 third-grade classes from St. Luke's come over as our first users. I will say, one of those great moments that you enjoy when people throw open the gates and have screaming kids run into the playground immediately. Fabulous. It was quite a challenge to get children in the middle of the day there for at the same time as press, but we did it. So we got some really good coverage for it. If you haven't gone down, you should go see them. Children are required if you are in the playground. If you'd like to go explore it, you're welcome to contact me, and a trust employee can go with you to be there. But single adults are not allowed.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Playground.
I'll loan you my son, it's okay.
All right,
Yeah, no unaccompanied adult.
okay. No, that is sturgeon, 2 sturgeon.
2 surgeons.
All right, and that's, you said ages 3 to 12.
3 to 12, that's challenging. We've its own thing.
Really beautiful job, except when people come out on the south side, you actually have little open spaces of the little waves. When people come out, cyclists moving fast can't always see they're coming up fast on the southern end.
If they're coming off the bikeway into.
No, it's the people coming onto the path there. So I don't know if you want to take away a little wave just to give it a little bit more eye line for the cyclists.
Okay.
Just take a look at it, because if I drive it south every day and
Oh, you're talking about the visibility of the turning from the donor sign, their friend's donor sign.
I
Okay.
could take a picture of it.
No, you got it.
Just worry that if there are kids there and they're coming around the side and there's cyclists coming down,
If the
That-
daylighting.
no business, yeah, daylighting it, exactly.
I'm happy to have our folks take a look.
So,
My second
science playground, yes.
my second update, I'm just gonna try to keep this moving. It is between February 17th to 24th. It is Kids Week at the Intrepid. This is their annual festival where children of all ages STEM through fun-filled activities, live animal shows, hands-on workshops, performances, special guests, interactive demonstrations, and designed to educate and inspire. There is a demonstration from NASA. I think there's a kangaroo. All the information's on our website. You should go look it up. I'm not gonna read you through the whole of it.
Kids Week, but
Kids Week.
have to no unaccompanied adults again.
I think there are things for adults to do as part of Kids Week as well.
Right.
There's also the entire Intrepid Museum, which
Just for the notes, Robert.
here you are. And then I'll bring this up. We have our special guests here who will do our presentation. Folks, remember, we came at the end of last summer to talk about that hornblower, which is the previous marine operator. Their permit expired at the end of 2023 for their operations at Pier 40. We did an RFP. We have our new selection, our new operator, New York Water Tours, who are here. For coming to talk to us. This is obviously a beginning of a conversation. It's not the end. They are, the expectation is they are going to be welcome members of our community for quite some time. It's like sort of I think over a 9-year permit. So with that, I'm actually want to turn, if you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Or out.
Sure. Do you want to go? Hi, so my name is Asen Kostarinov. I am the founder and president of New York Water Tours, and we have 3 more team members here. We have Sanjeev Vaid, who is our head of operations. We have Mike Fellick, who is our CFO, and we have Brett Derman, who is our general counsel.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, and thanks for the opportunity.
Brett, can you bring up the presentation? We have a very short 5-slide, I think, presentation.
Yeah, can you share? Are you able to share? Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to do that right now. Yeah. So can you just go to your down?
Robert, while you're doing that, what was the name of the contractor or blower? Was it the?
Cornucopia.
So neither of the original.
I can,
They live on their own court, right? Or did you?
Well, the hornblower's permit expired and cornucopia was under hornblower's permit.
So now we're good.
They didn't request for it.
Just close the.
They did respond to the RFP.
Oh, they did, okay. Didn't.
Hornblower did not.
That's what I was, yeah, Hornblower did not, that's what.
I'm gonna make you a co-host so that you. No, they're, so I made him a co-host.
Slide, I guess.
Mark, are you impressed how I changed the display to make
It
it?
was just slide to the left. You just go up there. Yeah.
Number one.
So,
Yeah.
hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Great. So I'll just start with a brief introduction of who we are. So I founded New York Water Tours 10 years ago in 2014. We've been operating in New York Harbor for the past 10 years, out of Liberty Harbor Marina in New Jersey and out of Pier 36 currently. And more recently, we've operated out of the World Financial Terminal as well, pre-COVID. We have a lot of experience operating various types of cruises here in New York Harbor. We have an excellent safety and environmental record in New York Harbor. We do own and operate 6 vessels at the moment. And we are generally a good neighbor. What makes us successful as a good neighbor, I would say, is that when we get to somewhere to operate, we try to find out what the local community is like and basically blend our operation with the local, with whatever we're operating, and just make sure that we can address any, introduce ourselves, make sure that we can address any concern that may arise, in the community. We do operate over 50 products, and we focus mostly on sightseeing and brunch and dinner cruises. We operate a Statue of Liberty cruise that goes around the Statue of Liberty. We operate a whale watching cruise, a fall foliage cruise, a sunset cruise, among some other sightseeing experiences. And we also operate a brunch and a dinner cruise. We cater to visitors as well as locals. I would say that, Brett, can you move the slides? Yeah, thank you. We've worked with the Hudson River Park Trust to kind of understand what potential concerns the local community may have, as we were selected to to be the operator out of Pier 40, the north and the west sides of the pier. And I'm sorry, Brett, can you slide?
Move it down?
Move on to the next slide. Yeah.
Okay, there.
So we
Guys,
identified.
I think
I'm sorry?
just got, I'm sorry, okay, yeah, go ahead, yeah,
Keep going.
keep going.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we've identified some points that we want to briefly discuss. For example, we have developed a proprietary software system that manages our reservations and our bookings, and virtually like 99.9% of our bookings are pre-sold. So everything is pretty much pre-sold and mostly sold online. And we have our own proprietary software that smooths out any peaks so that we avoid large crowds in general. Our vessels operate, I'll give you a general example. I mean, I would say over 95% of our departures operate between 10, 11 a.m. in the morning and return before 10 p.m. in the evening. That's including weekends and including busy seasons like May through September. We do own and operate our vessels, and they are operated by our employees. So we directly manage the operation. We never play music dockside ever. We just don't do that. We have controls in place to minimize sound levels that in the proximity of the pier. We do a few things. For example, we would not play any music until we get to a certain distance away from the pier, or we stop playing it a certain distance away from the pier on the way back to the pier. We at the same time we slow speed when we're departing or arriving in the pier. And in addition to that, we have mufflers on our engines. On all of our vessels, all of our engines have mufflers to limit the noise that comes out of them. And we would generally work with the trust to adjust our practices, not only with the trust and the local community, to adjust any of our practices that may help everybody else's experience around the pier be better. And I would, if we finalize the agreement and everything goes through, we plan to introduce ourselves to the community board and make sure that the community board has direct contact with someone from our organization that would be able to reach out. If any concern arises, you reach out to us and we address the concern basically.
Okay. Cool. That's great. Thank you. Well, I'll let you keep going, but that sounds great.
I think it might have been the end. This was.
Okay.
I think that was the end. Yes, thank you.
Do anyone have any questions?
Got it. Yeah, thanks. Robert, did you just, before we turn over to questions, any reason why, can you give us any sense of why they won, or without giving away any secrets?
So as part of this, folks are aware of some of the challenges we had with under the previous operator and the structures of it. And we talked about before when we launched the RFP that trying to find ways to resolve some of those issues was kind of top of mind for the trust as part of it. I will say it is without going into any of the details, it is continues a financial benefit to the trust that the previous hornblower agreement provided us. It is a substantial part of our revenue that we bring in at Pier 40, and we did a frankly fair amount of due diligence to try to make sure that we were identifying a reputable, responsible operator who we believe would be able to be successful given the park and neighborhood context that Pier 40 sits in.
Oh, congratulations to both the winners and they're all winners, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's turn it over. We have a question. We have a question here from Dan, who's also a resident, a local resident.
So I'm right across the street from you. So I'm very aware of hornblower, and you hit all the important points: being a good neighbor, having a hotline contact, not having music dockside. I didn't hear booze cruise, which is important. One of the questions I had, one of the issues that we've had in the past is a lot of people coming in at the same time, and the music attracting them over there, and everybody leaving at the same time, quite drunk, sometimes just leaving dangerous points over crossing Leroy Street. But it sounds as though this is a very different operation, even just looking at the bus. How large are your vessels? What is the largest vessel that you operate on Pier 40?
Yeah, that's a good point. So we have two vessels that are approximately 120 to 150 passengers. Then we have a few vessels that are between 300 and 400 passengers, and there's one vessel that is 600 passengers. So that, 600.
How does that compare?
We don't have any of these huge 800 or 1,000 or even more passenger vessels.
That's 600 is bigger than anything hornblower had, though.
No, Hornblower had a few 800 or over 800 passenger vessels, a few, right?
Yeah, and Cornucopia, I believe, also had their boats were over 800.
Over 800, so yeah, it's hard to gauge. So, in the plan for boarding an 800 person cruise,
600.
600, sorry, 600. So is everybody coming at the same time? Do you have guards outside that are basically making sure they're going through the stanchions, which is what Hornblower did have? And they actually had people, I guess, congregating up north on the Esplanade, going south and around. But how many folks do you have helping out, loading people onto the boat if it's going to be 600, right? That seems like a
to answer your question, the number of personnel at the pier would depend on the number of passengers boarding, right? So if we have the more passengers we have, proportionally the number of personnel at the pier would go up. And we have quite a bit of experience boarding and deboarding these vessels on a daily basis. And we found out that, first of all, if you're boarding a vessel with 600 passengers, which is very, very rare, right? Because these are not the vessel is 220 seated passengers. And that's what we really utilize it for brunches and dinners. And the capacity is up to 600, but I don't believe that we have ever put 600 passengers on that vessel, for example, right? We use the vessel for brunch and dinner and it's 220 passengers. Just to give everybody an example, right?
Yeah, that's good.
And understanding, right? So what we want to do as an operator is have enough personnel and making sure that the individuals, the customers that are coming to board that event know where they're going. Right, so that it's not much going back and forth. They know exactly where they're going. The people on the ground know where each customer is going based on their ticket, and then you allow enough time to board. Like if you start boarding, let's say an hour before the departure, then obviously everybody. I mean, you don't have a crowd. You really can avoid crowding basically.
But he didn't say how many.
Well, he said it's maximum 600, but not that many. And how many boats at one time are going to be docked on the south side of Pier 40?
North and west sides, not south.
Oh, sorry, north. I just turned it upside down. Yeah, I'm on the north side of it. Yeah, so how many north and west on the west side? Yeah.
All six vessels would be docked between the north and the west side,
right. And
the vessels that would be departing more frequently would be generally docked on the west side. Mm-hmm. But all six vessels would be docked there at the same time.
And how many vessels at one time? Six,
yes.
Oh. Okay, Susanna, do you have a question?
I just wondered, I know you're available for chartered cruises at night. How many do you anticipate? I know that this is a completely different set of circumstances than other places that you operate, but how often do you anticipate being able to do evening cruises for private parties?
Evening cruises for private parties.
Yeah, is that something that you do or you don't do?
Well, I'll tell you that I would say late night cruises in 2023 was approximately 1% of our departures. We had over 2,000 departures in 2023, obviously because we operate 6 vessels. And so we don't focus on that type of a cruise. We as I said, we are operating really sightseeing cruises and brunch and dinner cruises. That's really our business.
I see. So the chartering is a much smaller part of your business.
Yes. It's very minuscule. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Danny blew our surprise. Our March committee meeting is going to be on the dinner cruise. No. But no, it sounds like so 6 vessels. That's a lot. Yeah. 2,000 cruises. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. 2 questions. Katie, I see your hand up there. Can you unmute?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And I see Donna's on. She may be wanting some of the same information. Gentlemen, nice to meet you. Like Daniel, I live right across the street. My bedroom window is facing the boat, And, and Robert knows that if there's a problem, I'm in touch. So I understand that you're going to give us a 24/7 cell phone that we can contact you at. Is that what you said? Is that what you said?
We have not, I mean, we're gonna provide a phone number that will be available 7 days a week. I'm not sure if it's gonna be 24/7, but it's definitely 7 days a week and during the times of operations.
Okay, that's fine. That's very important. And you say you normally are operating 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Is that correct? Did I hear that correctly?
About 11 a.m., the first departure departs, and by 10 p.m. the last vessel usually is back already. Yeah.
But 10 a.m. because you have to load an hour before, and then 10. So if it comes in at 10 p.m., it might take till 11. Okay. Now, if you do 2,000 cruises a year, I think 1% is 20. Does that sound correct to you? 20 late night cruises, 1% of 2,000?
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we have the most trouble. That's where you're going to have the headache, and we are too. So, you know, this is from experience. And I assume you're going to be coming to the SLA as well. Is that correct? I'm on the team, the committee,
Correct.
and Dawn is here. Okay, and the previous two operators had serious agreements, stipulations about music. I'm glad to hear what you're saying, but it wasn't enough for dockside. It had to be out into the, river before the music could go on, and it had to go off, because that's really the problem. The music is very loud in the neighborhood. It doesn't seem so loud at the boat, but by the time it gets to us, it is. So, and are you going to do sightseeing cruises from Pier 40 as well as brunch and dinner?
Yes, we primarily do sightseeing, brunch, and dinner cruises. That's really our business.
Are you moving all your operations to Pier 40, or are you keeping other operations?
We may keep some operations elsewhere, but the majority of our operation would be out of Pier 40.
Okay, that's very helpful. Okay, you answered. Other questions came up, and I understand. Okay, I'm going to thank you very much.
Thanks, Katie. Thanks for helping out. And Donna, I see your hand up there.
Yeah, I just wanted to welcome you to the community, and
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you at the SLA committee. I chair that committee. And I wanted to encourage you to get your notice into us soon because of the lengthy backlog at the Liquor Authority, so that you can start moving that process forward.
Sure.
Okay. Absolutely.
Sounds good.
It's taken quite a while for people to get licenses there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good point. All right. Katie, do you have another question?
No, I'll put my hand down. Thank you.
Okay,
Sorry.
no, that was Matt. Yeah, people can't live in yellow houses. I can't see your.
It's Hugh. It's the I can't help it.
All right. All right, Matt, go for it.
I just wanted to say, I think currying our favor, the easiest way to curry our favor is by sending senior executives and I think a partner and general counsel and two other very senior executives definitely counts. And so I want to say seriously, we appreciate your time.
Very good.
And everyone showing up. And I guess the question is, can we have your commitment to continue to send senior executives to these meetings?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good point. Anybody else?
To Katie's point, we can always, the trust has a hotline that's pretty much open 24/7. So an effective way to actually make a complaint is calling the hotline.
And I will just on this one, it's our 24/7 operations number. You can call them with basically anything you see, problems you see here in the park, all the time, so they can get to the right place. As part of this, as I mentioned before, we're having the truck operations and our truck line. We are working very closely with New York Water Tours to develop the operations plan for this. Everything from loading to unloading, to getting folks in and out of the park for deliveries, the world of operations that has to go on. And the otherwise very complicated Pier 40 site is a focus of ours.
And one other follow-up is it possible for New York Waterways to come back in a year or after the summer to talk about how great a job they're doing, or maybe what some improvements might be? That did happen with Hornblower. You know, they did come back a few times. They did try to work on some of the issues. And I thought that was very helpful to keep the dialogue going.
Sure, happy to do that.
That's a great idea. Yeah, we definitely should do that.
You're always welcome to.
We will always be here. Not every month, but like a lot.
And one last thing, I'm chair of the Hudson River Park Advisory Council, so I know Robert very well, and I think it would be a great idea at some point to we might need not to have all this heavy brass come to see us, but maybe one or two of you just explain the same operation or party to our committee meeting, which is the second Tuesdays of month. It doesn't have to be in March. It could always be in April or May. But if maybe Robert can get you on our schedule, I think folks would be really appreciative of it.
You bet.
You bet.
And these guys will now be folded in as part of we have our annual water safety meeting where we bring all our water safety boating users in together, the kayakers, boaters, ferries, these guys, they will now become part of our larger Hudson River Park community.
Very good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, watch out of here. There are a lot of,
Guys.
there are a lot of oysters I hear out there.
Thank you. Thanks, Robert.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
I'll take you off. Bye. See you. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. It was quick. And Robert, thanks for coming back. And it looks like big deal. I know that was a
Big changeover
for you, so I'm glad it's worked out. I think you've got a good partner.
So one thing you're going to hear at the advisory council, so I'm not going to bring up now, you're going to hear it from Graham and other boating communities. Is there's so many more boats right now leaving, and simultaneously, and so many more trips and that's going to come up with your water safety meeting. It's like, how are you going to handle the kayakers and paddle porters that pass right by them? What is going to be the methodology? But you know that
their methodology exists. You're not no wakes. There's the speeds. It is an active waterway.
A right of way.
It's Coast Guard right of way rules, but certainly there are caution. The point of our water safety meeting.
I'm afraid of when I'm out there in my paddleboard.
The point of our water safety meeting. Oh,
yeah, it's not. I didn't think it was the time to talk about it, but that's a detail.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, they
aware.
That's good. And I don't know how they drive those things.
I got to see you out on the water. When are you coming up?
No brakes, man. No brakes on those boats. All right. Well, thanks everyone. I appreciate it. It's oh, what? Oh, thanks, guys.
Any new business?
Thank you.